Hello, my name is Ibtisam. I want to speak about something that lies at the heart of effective and ethical leadership. It is inclusive leadership and the importance of recognizing and overcoming bias within it. Inclusive leadership isn't just about having diverse teams. It is about creating environments where people of all backgrounds feel valued, respected, and empowered to contribute. But inclusion doesn't happen automatically. It requires us to be intentional, and that means confronting one of the biggest barriers we all carry bias. Bias, whether conscious or unconscious, shape how we see others, how we lead, and how decisions are made. And when it goes unexamined, it limits not only the people around us, but the quality of leadership itself. What is bias? Let's start with the basics. Bias is a tendency to favor or avoid certain people or groups unfairly based on factors that may have nothing to do with their actual ability, value, or character. There are two broad types: explicit bias, which is conscious, like openly preferring one group over another, and implicit bias, which is unconscious, the assumptions we make without realizing it. Bias is not just about race or gender, it can be based on age, education level, accent or language, religion, physical appearance, social class, disability, even personality traits like introversion or assertiveness. Why biases matter in leadership? When we're in leadership, our decisions affect people's lives. Who gets hired, who gets noticed, who feels safe, and who gets opportunities. That's why bias in leadership is powerful and dangerous. Unchecked, it leads to homogeneous teams that lack innovation, low morale and engagement, unfair treatment and exclusion, missed talent and perspectives. Inclusive leadership calls us to interrupt this pattern. It asks, what am I not seeing? Who am I not listening to? Most common types of biases in leadership. Let's walk through some of the most common types of bias that show up in leadership and how to address them. 1. Affinity bias. This is the tendency to favor people who are similar to us in background, interests, or style. For example, you might unconsciously trust someone more because they went to the same school as you, or dismiss someone because they communicate differently. How to overcome it? Challenge yourself to mentor or support someone unlike you. Standardize hiring and evaluation criteria. Diversify your inner circle. 2. Confirmation bias. We tend to look for information that confirm what we already believe and ignore what challenges us. For example, if you believe someone isn't a strong team player, you might only notice when they fall short and miss when they actually contribute. And how to overcome it? You seek to disconfirm evidence. Ask others for their perspectives on people or situation. Practice being curious, not certain. 3. Gender bias. This includes assumptions about roles, behavior, or abilities based on gender. For example, assuming women are more emotional and men are more strategic, or that caregiving responsibilities make someone less committed. How to overcome it? Interrupt stereotypes in conversations and decisions, ensure equal access to leadership development, use gender neutral language in policies and job descriptions. 4. Age bias. Bias against people because they're too young or too old. How to overcome it? Focus on capability and contribution, not age. Create multi generational mentorship opportunities. Stop using language like too green or too old school as automatic disqualifiers. 5. Beauty and appearance bias. People are often judged based on weight, skin tone, hair, clothing, or other aspects of appearance, often unfairly, how to overcome it. Refocusing decisions on skills and outcomes, avoid commenting on people's bodies or styles, acknowledging that professionalism can look different across cultures. 6. Halo and horn effect. When one good or bad trait defines how we see someone overall. For example, a charismatic leader is assumed to be competent in everything, or someone who made a mistake is seen as unreliable regardless of their growth. How to overcome it? Base evaluations on full range of performance data. Separate behavior from character, give people room to evolve. Let's see inclusive leadership in action. So, how do we actively lead in a way that reduces bias and increase inclusion? Here are some key practices. 1. Self-awareness. Know your own patterns and preferences. Reflect on who do we tend to trust, avoid, or reward. Use tools like implicit bias tests or feedback circles. 2. Listening with openness. Listen to understand, not to defend. When someone shares an experience of bias or exclusion, believe them. Create space where it's safe for others to speak honestly. 3. Equitable systems. Review hiring, performance reviews, and promotions for fairness. Use structured interviews and diverse panels. Disaggregate data by gender, ethnicity, age, etc. to find hidden gaps. 4. Diversify leadership pipelines. Sponsor people who are underrepresented. Give stretch opportunities for those who may not always be the first choice. Build mentoring systems that work across lines of differences. 5. Call in, not just call out. When biases happen, address it, but with the intention to teach and build, not shame. Practice compassionate accountability. Lead by example. Let's pause for a moment. Think about a time when you may have overlooked someone because of bias, even unintentionally. What did it cost them? What did it cost you? Now think about someone who believed in you, who gave you a chance, saw your worth, or challenged a stereotype on your behalf. That is what inclusive leadership can do. It is not about being perfect. It's about being present, aware, and willing to grow. It's about choosing people, not just policies, and making sure no one is excluded simply because we didn't stop to question our habits. Overcoming bias in leadership is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong practice. It takes honesty, humility, and courage. But the reward is this. You create a culture where people belong, where ideas thrive, where leadership is not limited to a few but open to many. So I invite you, as leaders, as humans, to begin where you are, to examine your choices, to listen more deeply, to lead more justly, and to make space for those who have long been waiting for someone to say, "You belong here." Thank you.